Welcome back, Rainmakers, to the Crypto Rain channel. I am your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to talk about Cardano. We're going to talk about the market in general and some other things on my mind. Now, I want to thank each of you for joining us here, and what you'll find from me is I shoot it as I see it. Now, I like to think I know what I'm talking about, but I am relatively new in the crypto investing space just since 2017, which isn't all that long. Now, I have been a real estate investor and investor in other things for 20 years, and I did go to business school all these years ago, and really that doesn't mean anything. It can be helpful. It's not necessarily helpful. But if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am often right. And so I hope you've been following me for a while because I like to talk about the things that I think will do well. And though none of this is financial advice, many of them have done phenomenally. So if you're joining us for the first time, I want to welcome you. And why don't we go ahead and get this party started?
Or John McAfee says he is eating the throne.
Alright, so that was one of my earlier intros, and I still have fun with that one. If you were around in 2017, you know that John McAfee was the big person promoting the market, and if Bitcoin didn't hit 1 million by the year 2021, he was going to eat a certain body part, and, it's not 1 million yet. In fact, it might have been by 2020 or something, 2018, I don't remember. But didn't happen by then. He was a little bit too optimistic on that. Didn't understand the Bitcoin cycles that things go through. So, let's talk about what's going on overall in the market. Now, there's a lot of trading sideways, and Bitcoin took a dip, and that's okay. Like, what has done well and what's doing well? Well, if you've been a Cardano follower like me, you saw that it took a big jump because Coinbase Pro announced that it's going to have Cardano available on it soon. And what usually is followed by Coinbase Pro having it is Coinbase in general, which many of us Cardano followers and lovers have been waiting for a long time. So it's kind of here, at least part of it, and the rest is soon to come. And we already knew that this would happen. And I don't know about you, I'm patient. I invest based on fundamentals on projects that I like. Now, sometimes I invest on pumpamentals, but those are usually shorter terms. But Cardano was always a fundamental hold for me because there are lots of problems that Ethereum has some fatal flaws that were not addressed in it. Now, Ethereum did move technology forward by a lot. And so 2 of the Ethereum killer projects are coming to fruition soon. Polkadot and Cardano, and they are vying for supremacy. Now, Binance Chain and BNB token has snuck up right in the midst of them because it is solving some more problems right now than either Polkadot or Cardano are, because their implementation is still not yet there. It will be soon, and so a lot of this price that we're seeing now is in anticipation of what we all believe that Cardano is going to do. So if you think about what are the problems that we want blockchain to solve for us? Well, we like the idea of permissionless, and we like the idea of secure, right? So one of the big problems that blockchain has solved since the beginning, as long as it is set up right, is security, correct? Secondly, we like the idea of permissionless, that as long as you meet certain criteria, you send a certain amount, you can transact on things without having to necessarily ask permission. You just bring in the required inputs, and then you get the desired outputs from it. And they call that permissionless. Some of the problems that blockchain hasn't solved very well is transactions per second. And so this is a big part of what the enterprise world has looked at blockchain and kind of scoffed at. Okay, it's nice that, say I'm Mr. Big CEO. Well, that's nice, your little Bitcoin thing. But, so that kind of transaction per second, a 14 transaction per second, that's not real world use case. And that's kind of like when internet was in the dial-up stage and you literally could connect one computer to another through the phone and Mr. Big Executive, well, that's dumb, like we're not going to hook up phones to our computers to call each other. Well, where did that technology go? That's the technology we're on today, and it's absolutely changed the world. So Bitcoin introduced the technology change in the world, and even Ethereum introduced some more ideas like smart contracts. And what has happened with DeFi is all thanks to some technology that really came about because of Ethereum. But that's not the end of the road, and we're still in the dial-up stage, and things are continuing to progress forward. Now, there does tend to be this 4-year cycle that happens, meaning the year after Bitcoin's halving, usually there's a massive pump in Bitcoin, and that follows into the altcoins. Now, we can look back 4 years ago, which there were only a few altcoins that really had anything rolling out. And there were a bunch of new ICOs or a bunch of new altcoins introduced in the market, but none of their functionality was ready except for like Ethereum and a few other things. So their fundamental value propositions were not online and ready to go. Back then, Cardano was available. I think it ICO'd in 2016 and 2017. It was still very much work in progress. And so we're just about at the end that Cardano is going to be usable. The Polkadot ecosystem is coming into fruition, and they're going to solve a lot better some of the things that have been problems that Ethereum has been trying to solve, right? And so that's why you're seeing such massive price increases. So I did want to talk about Cardano's price, and let's look at where we're at from the technical standpoint, or technical analysis standpoint. So I have it drawn out here. I'm just making sure I'm not standing in front of the numbers. All right, so it broke out and then it came right back in this trading zone here, but now has definitely broken out. Now, often when things break out, it does come back and retest sometimes all the way down to this line. Now, it may not do that. People have been waiting on this Coinbase news for a long time, and now that it's here, that's what caused this breakout. So we'll see where it goes in the immediate future from here. Now, funny enough, I moved some Bitcoin that from my Bitcoin, I'd say, pocket where I put certain things. I decided, you know what, I need to put that in a better use into altcoins. And so yesterday I was trying to determine what altcoins I was going to buy that were the best use of that. And so I put it into a few yesterday and the day before. And so 2 of these picks are right here. One was Cardano, and I saw it down all the way close to $1.02, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was looking at the chart, and I'm like, it's a fantastic buy. It's right at the bottom of this trading zone, which has really gone down to right about $1. And so that was just the best buy available. So I rolled in, I don't know, 1.2 Bitcoin or so into Cardano and didn't know that this news would come out. And some of you that follow my channel, you asked me what I was doing. Now, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your financial advisor. So I did share with you in those comments what I had just done. And I had just rolled a bunch into Cardano. There's another one that I rolled a lot more into, and that is WanChain. Now, let me show you the technical analysis on WanChain. It's not just because of the technical analysis. It's because I shared with you a video the other day about some of the things coming out related to WanSwap that's really going to upgrade where WanSwap is at with some NFT and some gamified farming coming soon, and so coming very soon. And so that will have an impact on a token that I've liked and followed for a long time. And so as well as the technical analysis, scream, buy me. So this is what they call a cup and a handle formation. And so then it usually breaks out from there. It did come back and retest this, and now is breaking higher. So it broke all the way to $1.60, and now is kind of still attractive. Now, will it continue to go up from here? Usually it does. It just doesn't always. What technical analysis tells you is what things are likely to happen, but it doesn't tell you what will happen. So yesterday, I bought a lot more of WanChain. In fact, with this retracement, I just bought even more. I was very happy to get some at $1.36, like literally 5 minutes ago. I bought some more WanChain. And so overall, let me share with you what's going on with WanChain, where they're at. See, this market cap, 228 million. Now, they do have a large percentage of their supply and circulation, essentially about 75%. And so I like that there isn't like, another 25% being held back by the company that may all of a sudden get released to them and dumped on top. I love to see like 100% already out there in circulation, but that's still not that common. So this is actually a small amount. It's a project that's been out there for a long time, and I've liked OneChain from the beginning because of the team behind them. And so their whole focus has been cross-chain interoperability, and they have some very good solutions for that. And you're going to see a lot more of their stuff rolling out soon. So that's why I'm a big fan of it at this price. Now, its all-time high in 2018 was around $9. So it's literally 1/6 the price still of its all-time high. So Cardano is trading at a little bit below its all-time high, though it did break above its all-time high and then has since retraced. This is still only 1/6 of its all-time high, and I do think they have some very good technology that will change the space. I want to talk about another one that from a technical standpoint looks pretty good, and that's Polkadot. Now, they're going to be having some parachain auctions coming up soon with Kusama, and then also Polkadot soon, and it's really going to be on the forefront of everyone's mind. And the reason I want to be talking about Polkadot today is because nobody else is. So yes, people are talking about Cardano today, but I was talking about Cardano yesterday. Why? Because it was a good buy. So often you will find I'm talking about the stuff when it seems boring. And it's not going to necessarily get me 10 million hits to my channel because, like, it's all of a sudden on everyone's mind. Now, Cardano is on everyone's mind because of the stuff that came out. But I like to buy when there's a deal and when things are on sale. And that there's a high probability of it increasing. And that's what you'll find on my channel. So, with that said, these are some of the things that I think will do really well in this space. Want me to talk about some more things that I think will do really well? Well, I'm going to anyway. So that is collectibles. Now, if you followed me a little bit, you know that honestly made some ridiculously good money from Top Shot back in September before I had this channel at all, or I would have shared it with you. Yeah, so some of these packs, now Series 1 did very, very well, and there was actually some like beta version, they were called like early adopters packs that you could buy for $9 a piece, and they were just sitting there available. See how this sold out, sitting there available for months at a time. And those early adopter packs, even though they only have like 3 cards in them, would probably go for like $1,000 a piece now. Well, so the timing on this, there's probably still some money to be made, but you've missed some of the money on it. It's just a timing issue, right? And so what I'm always looking down the road is what is the timing good on. And so I want to share with you what I've been sharing with you, which is the VV collectibles. Now, they launched Batman NFTs and with several of the different artists, and VV is one of the biggest NFT deals out there. They have some of the best licenses. Now, I've heard that they signed the NFL Players Association, and it'll be interesting because their technology is an app on your phone, not an app on your computer, but an app on your phone. And so maybe something down the road will come with on the computer. I don't know if that's in the works or not, but right now it's just on your phone. And what's easy about that is that people that are totally uninterested in blockchain can still buy these cool collectibles, and they're 3D ones, so you can like flip them around and you can position them. In fact, you can even take the collectibles and do a scan of your room, your actual room or your house or the street, and then you can drop one of the 3D images in there so it looks like it's there, and then you can take a picture. So I was playing around with my wife last night, and I dropped in the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you know, on the floor, and I was like, hey, isn't this the coolest thing that you could take a picture with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? And or like Batman, like there's a lot of cool things that they can do, and they're working on right now. They're just like static 3D models, but they're working on 3D models that you can maybe animate them or move them around. Wouldn't it be cool if the NFL ones were posable? So like you could take them and you could set them up in the end zone, and you could have 15 people going for the catch, and you have one receiver up, you know, grabbing it, and you could create this whole scene. I could imagine that would do really well. Do I know if that's going to happen? No. But I suspect strongly that VV is going to be one of the 2 biggest players in this space. Do you know who the other biggest player in the space is to watch? And that is the Flow blockchain with NBA Top Shot behind it. And so I'd keep an eye on this. They do have some MMA or the UFC coming out soon. So I imagine that will do really well. And can I share some other thoughts with you? Now, I talked a week ago about a blockchain you've never heard of, and it's crazy to me how you've never heard of this. But the reason you haven't heard about them is because, number one, they developed some technology behind the scenes years ago. They can actually easily do, let's just say it's about 1,000 times faster than Cardano. It's 1/1,000,000th the cost of Ethereum transactions, and depending on what that's going on, like, but it is the cheapest, fastest thing out there, and you've never heard of it. And there's reasons why you haven't heard of it. They're going the enterprise route, that they're selling. They don't have a token that you could buy. They didn't go the route of, hey, let's bring a token and let's raise $100 million through the token, and then everyone's got a token, but then we get the money to create this. They mostly self-funded with a few venture capitalists their blockchain development. They created an architecture and they solved some of the biggest problems out there related to blockchains. And so I'm just sharing with you some of this information that most of the space is completely unaware of. And if you're hearing it here, you're probably hearing it nowhere else yet, but you will be hearing it everywhere. And so their approach was very different. Instead of coming to the common public and raising funds there, they built all their stuff in their minimum viable product, all self-funded and with a little bit of venture capitalist funds. They have the fastest, most secure, I'd say most secure on huge scale blockchain that I've ever seen, as well as they were doing 8 million transactions per second, and that was like 3 years ago. And so what they've completed solving some problems is some of the problems that has had me most excited about Charles Hoskinson and Cardano. Number one, how can you produce it on a scale that can handle world problem solving solutions? Like, for example, Visa does 40,000 transactions per second. So if you're ever going to get a big company like Visa to come over onto your blockchain, you got to be able to vastly outproduce 40,000 transactions per second for them. Otherwise, they'll just keep using their centralized database. I mean, centralized databases, the reason companies continue to use them is that they're faster than blockchain has been. Up until now, Cardano and Polkadot, those all become viable options unless there's a player in the spectrum that can outproduce them by a lot and is actually a simpler solution. So one of the problems that I love about what Charles Hoskinson came up with is that he built on Haskell, and so you can integrate with Cardano through knowing Haskell. And the reason he did that is there's so many programmers out there that already know it, which was really smart. So they developed this blockchain and this kind of speed like 2 years ago, and they've taken a year and a half to develop integrations through a RESTful API. For you non-programmers out there, that's something that all the web developers out there are pretty much used to using already. So you can integrate through the RESTful API with this blockchain, which means Ethereum often brags that, with Solidity, we have 200,000 developers that know how to program on Solidity. Well, with the RESTful API, about 90% of web programmers already know how to interact with the RESTful API. And so there's millions of developers that can build on that. And so now you will be hearing about it soon on some channels. I think they're doing their first press release on Cointelegraph, if I understand right. Now, hopefully I can get the CEO. I talked to him today, and maybe he'll come on for an Ask Me Anything interview, or he'll just come on and tell you about the product directly himself. Now, what capabilities does this have for you as an investor? They will be doing a token launch sometime later this year. As to whether it's a good price or not at that, I don't know. I'll give you my straight up thoughts. Is it something that will probably carry lots and lots of value for the long term? Absolutely. So now it depends on what kind of timing it comes out at and what kind of price as to whether it's a really good investment now or a really good investment maybe during the downturn in the market. And, like I shared with you, I'll always shoot you straight on that. But this is one to watch. Now, he actually comes from the exact same location as, Bill Gates. If you know a little bit of trivia, where did Bill Gates originate from? And it wasn't Washington, it was another state, in fact, another city. Where did the founder of Amazon come from? Jeff Bezos. Same place. It's the same place that some of the people that created this technology, come from, and the CEO himself, who created the algorithm that solves the sharding problem better than anything out there, including some of the projects I like the most, which is Zilliqa, Cardano, and Polkadot. So, yeah, I look forward to sharing more with you about this in the coming weeks, but it's really cool. So whether it's a good deal, they will be doing a token sale at some point. I will have to evaluate what the tokenomics look like then, because they're not fleshed out. Will the project change the future? Yes, it will. For a lot of people, is my best guess. And I think it's pretty exciting. A lot of the things that they're doing, the capabilities of this thing, it literally is a monster. Now, it has some advantages over Cardano as far as enterprise blockchain, especially in government and healthcare uses. But when the founder, if I can get him on for an interview, I'll let him explain all that, because honestly, a really smart guy. He can explain some technical things in some pretty simple terms, and I don't want to mess it up. So just something to be aware of. What am I most, so today I always look at a constant basis. What are some of the things I'm most excited about investing today? And I'd like to keep you updated on what my thoughts are. This isn't financial advice. This is just what I think will do the best. And there's still out there some Batmans on the VV app. Oh. So if you haven't downloaded it, you might consider it. Now, some of the ones I like the best sold out, like the number 100, the series 1 sold out, and it's gone. And there's no secondary market yet. So the only way you can pick it up is if they eventually come out with a secondary market. Now, it's a little bit of a pain when you actually get the VV app, because you have to scroll through it and you're looking for brands. So brands, and then you're scrolling over to, I don't love the user interface for this, but there. Now, I do think the uncommon is still the only series 1 available. Nope, that's sold out too now. So all the series 1s are sold out. I do think those were amazing. Now, there are some like common and uncommon series 4s available, probably some of the series 2s and 3s. I do think the collectibles on these are a really good buy. Now, the blockchains were a fantastic buy. I think Ecomi or Omi's blockchain, there's some tokenomics behind it that I really, really like. The biggest complaint I hear people say is, oh my gosh, the token supply. Doesn't matter what the token supply is, it matters what the market cap is at, and the market cap is still good. Now, the token supply is 750 billion, the total token supply, but there's some token burns associated when they sell things through the app. And a lot of their stuff is driven through not marketing, selling their blockchain, so you don't see a lot of stuff related to that. It's through building something that people want to use on the front end, because that will take care of everything on the back end. And so if people are liking these collectibles and they're going and buying them, and I'm seeing everything I need to see there. Number one, their 3D models are really good and they're cool. Number two, the fact that you can sit there and like turn your camera on and you can then place them with the camera like next to, somebody, and you can snap pictures of it. That's really cool. And they're coming out with 3D cars that you can like open the doors and you can actually drive them around like a remote control, or you can expand them and make them seem bigger in the settings, so you can like essentially get a GM concept car that's really, really cool, and then you can have the model there and you can take a picture with your friends with it, things like that. Now, will it look like a 3D model? Well, as of where their technology is today, yes. Now, where it'll go in the future, it may actually look like a real car is right there. Now, I think they signed a deal with General Motors, if I read that right, about a week ago. But I know that they're doing the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and I think they already have that agreement. They just haven't rolled it out to the public to be able to buy that yet. And there's a video from, I think, December where they were demoing some of that, and it's really cool stuff. You should check it out. So I'm a really big fan of the VV collectibles. Now, if you did tune in before, you saw how well the NBA Top Shots did, and that with a few $1,000 investment, so far it's turned into, I haven't opened up all the packs yet, so I don't know what it's really turned into. I think I spent under $2,000, and with what I've opened up so far, it's about $140,000 that have come out of that. So what's that, 70x or something? Not bad. And if I open up those other ones and got one or two LeBrons in there, it might be like 200,000 in value, and that's just now. We're not even at the end of the bull market. So collectibles can really, really do well if they're highly desirable ones. And so that's why I've been talking about them a lot. I know a bunch of you, I've seen in the comments, were smart enough to pick up those Batman collectibles, especially the Series 1s that really just sold out last night. So congratulations to each of you who bought those. I think they're going to do really good for us. So I bought a bunch myself. My wife actually, he's like, she saw what the NBA collectibles did. So she bought 2 of each of the Series 1 ones that weren't sold out, the uncommon and the common. So I think she's going to do really well too. Overall, I want to thank you for joining us. I did share with you my talks with the Chain team the other day, and hopefully you caught that video. There's some good information about the stuff, and I did touch a little bit on today. Talked about it more the other day. So, thank you for joining the channel. If you haven't already hit the like, and you're one of my rainmakers out there, I greatly appreciate it if you hit the like. And if you're brand new to this, evaluating whether you want this kind of information, I'm an investor myself, and I shoot it to you the way I see things as an investor of, unfortunately, only 4 years investing in cryptocurrency, but I do have 20 years investing in general, and I do tend to think about things like an investor. So I hope that's helpful. If not, that's okay. I do appreciate you joining me for this video, and we will see you next time.